I was a prison guard, and after our warden's daughter was called inside our prison, he began interrogating prisoners for answers. So I tried to intervene, but he blackmailed me, threatened my family, and turned my community against me. So I played his own game and pulled an Uno reverse that devastated his entire life. I used to work as a prison guard, and one day our warden decided it would be a good idea to bring his 10-year-old daughter in so she could see where Dad works. He left her alone in his office for just a minute when she wandered out. He found her 10 minutes later in one of the corridors, bleeding out from her head with the fly on her pants undone. Watching him clutch her against his chest and hold her lifeless body repeating, "Daddy's got you, sweetheart," for hours was a sight I'll never forget. From that moment on, he became obsessed with finding out who did this. He didn't even take a day off from work, just came in next morning off no sleep and spent the whole day grilling every prisoner and guard. He offered bribes, reduced sentences, special privileges, anything for information. I remember watching him break down between interviews, then slam his head into the wall repeatedly, just so the physical pain could momentarily drown out the emotional one for long enough to conduct the next interview. He rounded everybody he thought gave suspicious answers and threatened them with solitary confinement, beatings, firings for guards. He even went as far as forcing a prisoner to wear a wire during yard to hopefully catch an admission, threatening that prisoner with an extra 2 years to his sentence if he didn't wear it. Unfortunately, his interviews didn't get him an answer, so he started becoming more harsh. 2.5 weeks after the death, he came into work hammered and grabbed me by the shoulders, telling me today was the beginning of the end. He then rounded up all the prisoners and announced to them that until the truth about who did it comes out, they would only be getting fed every second day. The backlash was brutal, and the warden took that as a sign that the people protesting were guilty. He got a hold of everyone who stepped out of line and ordered us, the guards, to hit them. Some guards, including myself, felt bad and didn't want to, but he threatened our jobs, saying if we're hesitating, then that means one of us must have culled his daughter. He'd pace around the prison either high or hammered every day, banging on random cells to tearfully beg for someone to tell him who took his daughter. When that didn't work, he began threatening the prisoners' children. He'd call up the prisoners he found most suspicious into his office and vividly describe to them the connections he had outside and what he could do to their families if they didn't confess. Unsurprisingly, this led to the prisoners hating him, with one particular inmate even lunging at the warden in the office. Said inmate ended up getting stabbed in the arm and had 5 years added to his sentence. But that wasn't even the worst part. You see, the warden took this inmate's rebellion as a clear admission that he was the guilty one, and because of that, the inmate, Jeremiah, was brought back to the warden's office a few days later. Nobody saw Jeremiah again for the following days after, so we all assumed he was just thrown in solitary or something. But then one day, while going to get coffee, I heard screaming coming from the underground tunnels below. I went down to investigate, and the more I followed the sound, the more disturbing it got, like nothing I'd ever even envisioned before. I remember going to the door where the sound was coming from, and through the crack, I could see it. The warden had Jeremiah tied to a chair.